Hello and welcome to the Pandaverse. I'm Elgon, the E in C&E.
And I'm Christine, the C in the C&E show.
And Christine is back from an over 2 week bout with COVID, and she had pneumonia. And I mean, it was pretty dicey there, pretty scary.
Yeah,
She had
didn't
to
think
go
I
to
was
the
gonna make it.
hospital. She had to go to the hospital a couple of times.
Yeah,
They had to give her injections,
yeah,
and she was vaccinated. So,
yeah,
this is proof that it's not 100%. It's it'll get through with certain people and certain immune systems. And she's healthy, but
yeah.
she catches diseases in the winter every year.
It's from living in Ohio. You got the 75-degree weather one day and the 25-degree weather the next. Your body's like, what is going on?
How did you catch this? What happened?
Well, we had a customer who had come in, and this customer person had not been feeling well. And when we waited on them, I was helping one of my employees with a transaction. And needless to say, the very next day, that person tested positive for COVID. Monday, I went to work. I didn't feel right about halfway through the day. I started to feel achy and I got a really bad headache. So I took my temperature and I had a fever. I immediately went home because I was afraid that I had contracted COVID, and I was afraid that I was going to infect my entire staff, which I did. So we all came down with COVID.
So the
They
bottom line here is if you feel bad, don't go to work.
No, don't,
Yeah.
because I took out 3 other people with me. Ron ended up getting an ear infection, poor guy, on top of it. So, we each handled it differently. One just was like a mild seasonal like allergy. One was like the flu. And then another one had the ear infection on top of the vomiting and things like that. So I got it the worst. I did not get a sore throat. I had a fever for 14 days, and the aches, and then I had severe vomiting, which caused dehydration, bad dehydration. I went to the hospital the first time, and they gave me fluids and pain medicine and anti-nausea. They sent me home. About 2 days later, I thought I was going to die. I couldn't breathe. My back hurt from my lungs. I couldn't keep anything in. I was sleeping on my bathroom floor. It was awful. And my daughter, about 4 o'clock in the morning, came downstairs and she said, "Mom," she said, I feel like I'm dying. I said, "Well, let's go back to the hospital." So we went to the hospital. They put her in one room, me in another. They just filled her with fluids and she was, able to go. They gave her some medicine. Now, me, on the other hand, I was in pretty rough shape. I didn't even know how rough of shape I was in. They gave me a CT scan, an MRI, an EKG. I had to have a blood panel done every 3 hours on my heart because my heart was failing. Which I didn't even know until almost the end, when the doctor came in and he told me the reason he had kept me there for so long was because my heart was failing me. So he decided I was a good candidate for the monoclonal antibody shots. So I got one in each arm and one in each thigh, and they were pretty painful. And it's been about 8 days since I've had them, and I am still feeling pretty lousy. Today I feel really tired. I'm really achy. I'm still having a little hard time breathing. So please, if you can wear a mask, just to protect yourself or others. I mean, it's something as simple as that. I just after coming so close to not being around anymore, you look at life a little differently, and you feel real blessed to be around them, the people that love you. I had a lot of support. I had a lot of people rooting for me, and I didn't realize, I'm gonna get a little emotional. I didn't realize how many people cared, and I am so blessed to have each and every one of you in my life. So thank you for all the prayers and all the healthy vibes. They worked. I'm still here, and I'm just recovering now. I'm just trying to get better a little bit every day.
Well, I asked my sister to pray for you, and she asked a bunch of people, and you had a lot of people on your Facebook group. The forest.
Yeah.
They were all pulling for you. You were still gaining members too on there, so you're
I
like over
saw that.
300 members.
I was trying to look, but my eyes, I had blurry vision with COVID. And so I would open my phone and I could look at it for maybe like a minute, and then it would just cause these really terrible headaches. So I wasn't able to keep up with a lot of social media. In fact, I think I was off social media for a good 10 days.
Yeah, the worst thing is, Christine and I, chat every day.
Yes,
Like
every day.
first thing in the morning before she goes to work, throughout the day, maybe sometimes in the evening if something's going on. I would maybe get a message from her first thing in the morning, and then she wouldn't respond. And, I could tell when she started feeling better after they gave her the monoclonal antibodies. I could tell you were feeling better because you chatted for a little while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I posted a picture showing people that I was alive. I lost 20 pounds. So don't worry, I'm gaining it all back.
Yeah. She doesn't recommend the diet, folks. So
No, not at
yeah.
all.
Yeah. So,
Not at all.
to everybody that, and everybody that follows us and everybody that's on social media, thank you. Your positive vibes and prayers definitely helped. And,
Yeah, they sure did.
and we have a great community supporting us too at Panda Moon. Alan and Zara were asking me every day if you heard anything from Christine. And we call everybody is called by their initials at Panda Moon. There's Z for Zara and C for Christine. Alan is Alan for some reason. We don't call him A.
We can start calling him A.
But that's Alan would ask me every morning, have you heard from C? What's the news on C? Christine would share a picture, and I would share it with them. And toward the end, she started sharing pictures with them too. So I knew she was better then.
Yeah,
But,
they sent me a message and just let me know how much they love me, and they were just pulling for me. It's really special. Sorry, it's a little bit emotional because to be so sick.
Is everybody in your family, over it now? Or
They are. My youngest daughter, she had more of a flu type COVID. She's 12, so she's real strong, immune system. And then she still does not have any taste or smell. So we had fudge bars last night, and she was really sad because she couldn't taste it.
Yeah, that takes a while to come back.
Yeah.
I've been over it for like a year, and probably like 3 weeks from now will be a year. And the taste is coming back, but it's not 100% what it was.
Right. Yeah.
And I still, things don't smell the way that they used to.
They don't at all. Well, Lila, she ended up getting COVID pneumonia. She was a preemie baby, so she had underdeveloped lungs, and she has asthma. So I was really worried about her when she ended up catching it. But she did get the COVID pneumonia. So she's still having, every day is different for her. One day she'll feel okay. The next day she'll have a little bit of hard time breathing. And then John, his was more like a mild flu. He just slept a lot, and he would get a fever. He didn't really get a cough until towards the end. But he handled it pretty good, and I'm really thankful for him. He took really good care of me when I was sick, so I was really blessed to have him by my side.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
sounds like John had kind of the same response I did. Now,
Yeah.
when I had it, okay, it was a year ago. I had the Alpha variant, I guess. Two of my roommates, two of the people who live with me, ended up hospitalized, and I had probably about 3 to 5 days where I didn't feel really good, and low grade fever, cough. My muscles kind of ached,
Yeah.
and that was it. That was it. But with them, one of them had pneumonia. One of them went to the hospital, and then she came back the next day.
Yeah.
I mean, it hits everybody differently.
So
And
differently. It's amazing how different it really just, and I had read so many articles about how your blood type affects, the way you get COVID. And I have the O negative Rh negative blood type, which is supposed to have been able to handle COVID pretty easily.
yeah,
And
and
it
I
it didn't. It
yeah,
didn't.
I'm
So
I'm O positive, so
yeah.
I did catch it, and I caught it from, my son was feeling bad, and my daughter-in-law wanted to go shopping and get some stuff, just in case,
Right.
and we were wearing masks. She wanted me to watch my grandson, and we were wearing masks,
Right.
but I took my mask off in the car when she was out of the car and was taking care of my grandson. And the next day I didn't feel very well. So
And it hits fast. I mean, it was 2 days, and I was down. And it
yeah,
just, when it hit me, it was the fever first. And that was the biggest sign, was
the
the fever.
fever and the aches and,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
feeling
Yeah.
run down. That's how it
Yeah.
starts.
Yes.
That's how it
Yeah.
starts. I mean, you may think you're coming down with a cold, but the way that things are right now, go get tested,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
send
Yeah.
somebody out to get a test. Don't even risk going out in public because you're going to spread it.
Yeah. Yeah. So those of you who, don't believe in COVID, trust me, it's very real. It's like nothing you've ever had before. I mean, for me at least, it was
And
not like a flu. It was not like a cold, and it was not like allergies.
I
I
tell
I tasted death, and
I,
it wasn't good.
I tell all my relatives, and I have relatives that don't believe in getting vaccines. You know, that's pretty much on them. They gotta do what they gotta do. I told them I was in Florida with a lot of my relatives back in May, and nobody was wearing a mask. I mean, but I was fully vaccinated at that point, and I've had COVID, so I wasn't really concerned that much about it. But nobody's wearing a mask. And as far as I know, everybody was okay from that. But I told them then, I said, this isn't a joke when you get it. And,
No.
you may be okay. You may have, you know, bad flu symptoms, or it may take you out, and you don't know. And at some point you're going to get it. I mean, this is an endemic virus now. It's beyond being
Yes.
pandemic.
Yes.
It's an endemic thing. It's going to go on every year. Somebody's going to have it. It's going to mutate a little bit every year.
Yep.
And, the people who survive it are going to have some immunity, but you're still going to get it from time to time. I mean,
Yeah.
that's just the way
Yeah.
it is.
I mean, to be honest with you, it affected me in such a way. I'm terrified to get it again. Terrified. I'm terrified.
Yeah.
I think about it all the time, about if I catch it again, because I mean, I was really lucky this time, and I mean, I have immunity now, which is fantastic. But if the immunity wanes, then I just I don't know. I don't know
Yeah,
if
we
I can
don't,
go
we
through
don't know. We don't
it.
know how strong the immunity is. We don't know how long it
Yeah.
lasts. I mean, the jury's still out on all that. So, I mean, this
Yeah.
may be something that you face, like I said, periodically. You may have to go through it again.
Let's just
And
hope not, though.
that's the scary part.
I went
We're
and
gonna,
visited my mom, and
yeah,
like it was like what was it? It was like last Saturday, and I hadn't seen her in a little bit. So I went and visited her, and the first thing she looked at me and said was, "Oh my gosh, Chris." She was like, "You're so skinny." I was like, "Yeah, I am." She goes, "Eat this pie." And she gave me some apple pie, which was really good. So go mom. Well, let's talk about your book that I got in the mail today.
Oh, yeah, I got one too. Look at that.
Look at that.
You got to see the back. Yeah,
Yeah.
we were having a meeting yesterday morning. I had a meeting with Zara and Alan. I showed them the book, and Zara says, "Is that the real book?" And yeah, I turned it around, showed the back. Because when we have when we're in the process of publishing a book, we'll generate what's called an ARC, an advanced review copy, or some people call them advanced reader copies. Our ARCs are different. They're physically different. They have like a band across them that says advanced reader copy or advanced review copy, I think is what it says.
Mm-hmm.
So they're physically different. And the main difference is they don't have the official back cover on it. They have like an ARC disclaimer on the back of it. And the ARCs will have errors in them, and they haven't been through the full publishing process. So, and even when you publish a book, you'll have a few mistakes still in it here and there. And so the people out there they're getting the book. If you find any mistakes, let us know.
Yeah, so we can fix them.
Send me a message so we can fix it, because everybody wants their book to be perfect, and
listen, even Stephen King has an error in his book.
Steve can verify there. Every book that we publish, and we're very meticulous in our process about publishing. Every book we publish has a few, like typos that by, because when you're reading a book, you get into the story, and your mind skips over all that stuff. So unless like reading every sentence, which is a discipline that editors have that I don't have. Unless you're reading every sentence and every word and really scrutinizing, some things are going to get past you. End quotes will be missing, or a period is a comma, or a comma,
or
vice versa.
Maybe an and.
Right. Or you'll have a thee that should be a then or a they.
Right.
There are going to be things like that happen in the book, and over time, it's the reason why you have version numbers on books. Over time, we'll consolidate the errors that we find, and we'll generate a new version number for the book. So you can tell if a book's gone through that by looking at the version number. It'll say it's version 1.01 or 1.02. So you know which version number it is. 1.00 is an original version. So if the bright side is, if you get one of those original books that have some of the mistakes in them, they're probably more valuable overall, because they're definitely a first edition. But in terms of reading them, if you're thrown off by things like that, it will be a little aggravating for you. I'm probably going into the nuts and bolts way far else, but
well, every once in a while, I'll go through like social media, and I'll see a post in like a book club, and they'll make fun of an author because of that reason. Like, say it was supposed to be they, and it says the. And they will just give this author so much crap. And every time I read it, I'll comment. And because these people who make these comments do not understand or realize how much work goes into editing a book. And in literally, writing a book in the first place is not easy. It's extremely hard, and it takes so much time. And then after you write it, you edit it yourself once or twice or however many times. And then after
the author's always the worst editor. Okay, you're always the worst editor, because you constantly are reading what you think is there.
Right. So listen, readers, try writing a book, okay? And then once you write a book, edit it a couple times, and then see how many errors you still find, because a
lot of times you create your own errors.
You do.
And then if you're using Microsoft Word, you're counting on the collective genius over 20 years of the world's foremost programming nerds to create valid English. And It's not 100%. It's a lot better than it used to be, but it's not 100%.
Right.
So, for example, my books are, called Thuperman and Thuperheroes. That's two of the book names, right? And Homer Underby. Those, of course, do not exist in the lexicon that Microsoft uses. So they always show that as an error. And if you have autocorrect on, which, every writer that I know, especially writers write fantasy books, which have weird names on, they try to go through and add in the weird names so that they're in the lexicon so they don't get those errors. But if they turn on autocorrect, suddenly Thuperheroes becomes superheroes and Thuperman becomes, and
Yep.
you have a bunch of errors all throughout your book. And you have to go back and fix those. And sometimes when you fix mistakes, it creates other mistakes. So in the process of editing, you may actually introduce more mistakes in the book than you did before.
Yep.
And the hardest part of the editing process is, creating a master copy and making all the changes to that master copy. If something doesn't work properly when they're merging the files or putting the changes in there, which we've had happen because we tried downloading a version of the book and the download doesn't take properly. So you have a master reference copy that nobody's allowed to touch, and then all the changes are made back to that, and then you try downloading it and it may be missing a revision. So I mean, there's all kinds of ways that these mistakes happen, and it's part
Right.
of the editing process. And Christine and I know about it because we're there, but we work with authors all the time and they may only have one or two books out and they don't realize. And like Christine said, you'll read a book from a well-known author and you'll find mistakes in it. I mean, I
It
remember
happens,
finding
guys. It
a
happens.
mistake in a book that was a paperback, which usually, the pocket paperbacks, those have been out for a while. Okay, those are books that have been out for a while. When they go to pocket paperback, they've been out for a couple of years. Okay,
Hmm.
they've been read a lot, and you'll still find mistakes in those. Hey,
Just enjoy the book, guys. Enjoy the story. Just enjoy the creativity that came from an author's mind.
I'm really glad that we have Thuperheroes out. It comes to a conclusion. This is one of the first times that I've actually liked the ending of one of my books. Liked it a lot, but I worked on it a lot too. So
Right. Yeah, you
um,
did.
maybe I'm getting better at writing endings now. So maybe I can draw some of my stories to a conclusion and not just have them go off into another direction. But knowing me, that's not going to happen.
Oh, yeah, I agree.
We have this book out now, and Ninja Castles is coming out probably early next year.
The new Everly book. Woo! May.
Beverly book's coming out in December, and I
December.
just read it, and I read the arc. The story is really good. So
I'm so excited for her. I can't wait.
Meg's a really good person.
Yes, she is.
Good storyteller, and she knows all kinds of trivia about television.
She was
Yeah,
just at Wizard World, right?
movies and everything.
Yeah.
And she has a blog, she has a website where she chronicles the media, the latest Netflix shows and everything like that. So
Yeah.
we'll have her on. We'll talk to Meg, promote her book.
I think that sounds great. All right. Well, everybody, it's so good to be back. I'm so glad. I'm so blessed. Thank you for just everything. Thanks, E, for checking in on me every day.
No problem. I've got an interview coming up tomorrow with Annie McDonald. If you want to hear more about the books, more about the Superman trilogy, and the characters and everything, I'm sure Annie's really good at interviewing people, so she'll pull out a lot of secrets. I'm sure that's something to look forward to. I haven't been on an interview with Annie in a long time. We had Annie on an interview with us at one point, and
Yeah.
she's
She's fantastic.
she's a character. So
Yeah, she's great. I love her. So, all right, everybody. Well, until our next show, stay tuned. We're going to have more shows now that we're both going to be able to be together. So,
All right. Well, we're glad to have you back, Christine.
all right, guys, you take care.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.